Colombia was one of three countries that emerged from the collapse of Gran Colombia in 1830, a nearly 5-decade-long conflict between government forces and anti-government insurgent groups, principally the Revolutionary Armed Forces of Colombia, also known as FARC, heavily funded by the drug trade, escalated during the 1990s. In this time, Roman Catholicism is the religion of great majority of Colombians. They tend to also practice Protestant, Jewish, Muslim, and Mormon. In 1997, there was a law agreement made that non-Catholic religious organizations must receive some sort of special permission from state in order to provide chaplains to public institutions like hospitals, prisons, or support perform marriages in churches. As of 2004, there were only 13 non-Catholic churches that had the rights to perform marriages in these organizations. Although Roman Catholicism makes up about 90% of the population, the current law states that there is no official or state religion, but majority of the people do tend to practice Roman Catholicism. There are six sub-function values of the Columbia. One is existence. It's the basic psychological needs such as eating, sleeping, and drinking, and the need for security. Promotion is the need for self-esteem, and it's important to hierarchies and persons and families with powerful and beneficial names. Normative sub-function is the necessity of control and indispensable preconditions to satisfy their everyday needs. Interactive sub-function represents the need for belonging, love, and affiliation. It was essentially established to regulate and maintain interpersonal relationships. Suprapersonal sub-function represents aesthetic and cognitive needs as well as higher needs of self-actualization. And the final is excitement, the need for satisfaction. Spanish is the official language of the Colombians. Most Colombians do speak Spanish except for some indigenous groups, populations. There's over 200 languages spoken within Colombia. Few Amerindian tribes speak Spanish like the majority of the Colombians. It's spoken and written by educated Colombians and is considered closest to the Castilian in Latin America, the Castilian people. It takes great pride and care in preserving the linguistic purity of the Castilian Spanish people. English is used in the major cities, but only and generally by the upper class, and it's not commonly understood or spoken all around. That's why a majority of the people speaking in the upper class. When they meet each other, men tend to shake hands, and while shaking hands, make direct eye contact. They use the appropriate greeting for the time of day. Buenos noches, buenos tardes, buenos dias. Women tend to grasp their forearms rather than shaking hands. They refer to people by their appropriate honorific title and surname, and if they have a maternal and paternal surname, they use both. Once a friendship develops, greetings become warmer, they become more hands-on. Men embrace and pat each other on the shoulder, and this is also known as the abrazo. Women tend to kiss each other on the right cheek. When it comes to their appearance, they pay a lot of attention to their appearance and their clothing. They tend to dress conservatively and be well groomed. Their shoes are the first thing that they notice. They don't generally wear tennis shoes unless it's for jogging, tennis, exercising, some sort of outdoor everyday activity. In the business side, men tend to wear dark suits with white shirts and ties in the big cities, and when it's warmer, they dress more formal. Women wear dresses and suits as well, but in the warmer weather, they wear comfortable cotton clothing. I believe that their orientation at the time is kind of back a little from the United States. They have, in their political realm, their leaders are tend to be targets of killings and kidnappings, extortion as well, and their family members. It's usually motivated by economic and political issues, whereas in the United States, we have those issues, but we don't tend to hear a lot about leaders being kidnapped or their families being hurt. Some tips for communicating with them. They are very family oriented people. Family takes center stage in their social structure, and it acts as a source of support and advice. Great loyalty is shown to family. So if you could find something that you have in common with someone in the Colombian culture, and as far as family wise, it could be very beneficial to you. The kids tend to remain at home until marriage, so we kind of have that in common. As far as appearance wise, they want you to be in your best appropriate wear for the time of day it is or for whatever occasion that you're going to. So I would pay a lot of attention to what I'm wearing, how I'm supposed to dress, and how conservative I am, because they are very conservative people. I would pay attention to the likes and the dislikes of the company or the people that I'm trying to impress. I would also want people to know that they need to know you personally before they begin a business relationship. So I would try to find something in common with them and get to know them and be upfront. That way, once that personal relationship develops, they can move on to that business side and develop that relationship as well. They are very upfront and forthcoming people, and I would recommend you being the same, anyone being the same, just for the sake of maturing that relationship. They also have religion is very important to them. So if you have religious tendencies or religious background, that could get you far as getting letting them get to know you. They do um, value family a whole lot, and I would just make that my main point: family and appearance, and making sure that you know what you're talking about, that you know the language that they speak, that you can understand and speak it properly, because not everybody does speak Spanish in the Colombian culture.